Welcome back to In Depth with Academia. I'm your host, Richard Price, founder and CEO of Academia.edu, and today we're exploring a really intriguing topic. What's the link between sports as an intangible cultural heritage and global sustainability, specifically UN Sustainable Development Goal 3, which is all about good health and well-being? Right, that's a mouthful. And honestly, when I first saw this title, I thought, what does that even mean for me or anyone outside academia? But hang on, because this is actually pretty fascinating stuff. So today, we're focusing in on a paper by Cecilia W. It's a working paper, and as always, let me say up front, I'm presenting this neutrally. My goal is to explore the ideas in the paper, not to endorse or challenge them. Think of this as a way to dip our toes into academic thinking and broaden how we see the world. So the core question, basically, is why should anyone care about the link between sports, not just as games or physical activity, but as living, intangible cultural heritage and the big global push toward better health for all, as defined by the UN SDGs? I mean, it's easy to think, hey, sports are just for fun, or competition, or maybe fitness. But Yu's paper argues that sports, both traditional and even esports, transmit deep values, trust, and health narratives in society, and these, sometimes unscripted, spontaneous moments during major sporting events, can help support global health initiatives, especially when public trust is fragile. Let's break that down a bit. Yu argues that sports are more than what we see on the field or the screen. They're part of our so-called living culture, stuff we inherit, practice, and pass on. According to UNESCO, intangible cultural heritage includes anything from oral traditions to music, rituals, social practices, and yes, sports. The paper says that when we gather, physically or virtually, to participate in or watch sports, there's a dynamic flow of stories, attitudes, and cultural values being kind of transmitted among us, sometimes even without us noticing. Now, why is that link to global sustainability or SDG 3, health and well-being, so important? Well, Yu's research focused on how these spontaneous cultural transmissions, especially in high-impact events like the World Chess Championship, can actually help reinforce positive health messages or fight negative ones. During the pandemic, we saw a surge of misinformation and a pretty big crisis of trust around health. According to Yu, the unscripted commentary and personal experiences shared by sports figures, like, discussions about mental stamina, well-being, or health safety during live streams, can really resonate with global audiences in a way that official messaging sometimes can't. She used a qualitative approach, lots of interviews and live observations during the 2021 World Chess Championship, basically collecting hours and hours of commentary from some of the world's best chess players and analysts. They weren't just talking moves and strategies, they were opening up about mental health, handling stress, and how it all linked to the bigger picture of public health. Totally unscripted. These moments can build trust and maybe influence people's attitudes towards things like following health advice or feeling connected to a sense of global community during tough times. Oh, and digression time. Do you ever get pulled into watching YouTube clips of sports bloopers and then suddenly 2 hours later you realize you've watched like 30 different clips and now you're watching chess grandmasters do speed challenges with rubber ducks? Just me, or maybe there's actually something to this, that the living, breathing culture of sports, online or offline, isn't just about the play, but all the unscripted stuff around it that draws us in, and apparently maybe builds trust and cultural memory without us realizing. Anyway, the key takeaway here, and what this might mean for you as a listener, is that the stuff we do for fun, or as part of cultural tradition, sports, games, even esports, might be carrying more weight in shaping how communities think about health, trust, and global well-being than we realize. The paper doesn't claim this is some magical solution, but suggests we should pay attention to these organic, authentic moments, because they might be more influential than big ad campaigns or top-down health messaging. Yu acknowledges that research like this isn't absolute truth. No one paper is. It's a work in progress like all academic work, but by thinking about sports as part of our living, intangible heritage, maybe we get new tools and angles for promoting global health, especially at times when trust is fragile or misinformation is everywhere. So what do you do with this? Well, maybe just notice the unscripted conversations and cultural moments happening around you, the stuff in the stands, in the chat, in post-game interviews. Maybe those moments matter more than we give them credit for. And maybe, especially if you're involved in sports, teaching, or even just following along, you can be aware of how these living traditions might ripple out, shaping more than just the final score. All right, that's it for today's episode of In Depth with Academia. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the heart of sports, culture, and global health. Remember, academic research is always a tool, never the answer. Let's keep exploring, questioning, and reflecting together. Take care, and I'll see you next time.